Hello and welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Tatiana Pyle, and today I have a very special guest with me. Kathy Ireland is a supermodel-turned-business mogul who is broken down the barriers for young people following in her footsteps. The entrepreneur has had her hand in both fashion and the home industry, and now she's exploring fiction with her first novel, Fashion Jungle. Everyone, please join me in saying hello to Kathy Ireland. Hello, hello. Congratulations on the book. It is such a great read. I really, really loved it.
Oh, thank you, Tatiana.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and I mean, you got glowing reviews from Ashley Graham, Vanessa Williams, and Andy McDowell. Like, how does that feel?
Awesome. I mean, these are women I have great respect for, and they've experienced so much in life. And I think each of them understand what it is to be in the fashion jungle. And the book is a thriller. There is political intrigue, it's romance, and it's also a cautionary tale. And in the world of fashion, as well as every other sector, no matter what business you're in, where in life you're in, there's always opportunities for exploitation. And Rachel Van Dyken, who is my co-author, #1 New York Times bestselling author, our hope is that readers will read this and understand their value and understand the importance of putting boundaries in place to protect those values.
I completely agree with that part. Now, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the creation of the book because this is your very first novel,
Yes.
and you co-wrote it with Miss Rachel Van Dyken, as you mentioned. How did those conversations come about? How did you decide this is the story that I want to tell?
You know, Tatiana, I never intended to share these stories in this way, and writing a novel was never a plan of mine. A colleague introduced me to Rachel. We got to talking and sharing the stories with Rachel. She began sobbing, and as I was sharing stories, there were elements to it that I became angry and recognized, you know what, this is a powerful story. It needs to be told. And it's been just a wonderful working arrangement together, pouring love into this for the last 2 years, and we're really excited to have it out now.
So I'm sure there may have been a few learning curves with writing your first fiction novel. What was the actual writing process like for you?
You know, Rachel made it so easy because I'm not a person who organically trusts easily, and she earned my trust very easily. She took the characters. It's fiction. It's based on true events that happened in my life and in the lives of women that I worked with, roommates, different people in my life. And she built these wonderful characters, this tribe of girlfriends. And so often we hear, you know, what were the cat fights like and all of that. You know what, that wasn't my experience. I mean, we had each other's back, the girls I worked with. It's also, there's some guys in this story, and there's, you know, guys we love, and then there's the predators as well. And so it's just a lot of intrigue. It's a thriller, and I'm so proud of Rachel. It's a wonderful collaboration, and we hope the readers continue to enjoy it.
Me too. And as you mentioned earlier, it's also a cautionary tale.
Yes.
And you talk about a lot of important social movements that are going on right now. For instance, the Me Too movement and human trafficking. Why did you feel that those stories were also very important to share in your book?
You know, I think people see the finished product. They see the glossy magazine covers, the retouched photos, and it's fantasy. And I think it's important for young people who are considering going into this line of work, and again, for anybody, to approach life with your eyes wide open. And, you know, these stories happened long before the Me Too movement, but it's important for people to understand your value, know what you would walk away from, and that you don't need to compromise yourself or your values to achieve true success.
And I'm sure throughout your career, you've experienced maybe moments where you doubted yourself, or you may have been in uncomfortable experiences. Can you just talk a little bit about your personal career journey and how it relates to some of the stories and some of the characters in the book?
Sure. I mean, 40 years ago, here in New York City as a teenager, entering the modeling industry, and naively I thought that all adults were good people like my parents, and it's just not the case. Met some wonderful people in the industry, but there was a time when a photographer pushed that boundary with me. He didn't accept my no, crossed the line, and I'm not a violent person, but I punched him right back and walked off the job. And that's okay. I'm grateful to my mom is the ultimate entrepreneur. Everything from babysitting, housekeeping, business, Avon lady. She could do anything, and I knew that I could too. And if people wouldn't work with me on my terms, I'd do something else for a living.
Wow, that's such a brave act that you did. And, you know, I hope that for the young girls out there, the young boys who are listening, that that can be a moment to inspire them as well, because it's scary. And when you're young and you don't know, like, what the right thing is to do.
Right, and sometimes the adults who are supposed to be protecting you don't always, and for many reasons. And so it is important. I mean, something I teach our children, be polite, treat people with respect. If you or anyone else is in danger, all those rules go out the window. They happen to have great instincts, so I tell them, let your instincts kick in, kick, scream, yell, get away, whatever you have to do. Towards the end of the book, we do have a resource page if anybody's in trouble, hotline numbers, as people don't understand often what goes into the lives of people in the fashion industry. There's some wonderful stories, that's great, but so often we don't hear about the human trafficking, child rape, models that go missing, murders even, and we do include that in the book.
Yeah, and I'm sure the community you were able to build throughout your career also kind of helped you as well when you were going through what you went through.
Absolutely, and you learn. I mean, you learn as you go. But I do want to share with young people that just figure out your values, what's most important to you, have conviction for it, and put those boundaries in place.
So I want to talk a little bit about the main characters in the book, because I'm sure that some of your personal life journeys and some of your peers inspired each of these characters. We have Brittany, Zoe, Everly, and Danica. They are just incredible, and again, like, I just want to learn a little bit more about the inspiration behind each of them and the stories that they're telling in this book.
There's, I mean, there's parts of me in each of these girls, maybe more so in one of the characters than others, but they are a compilation of different people that I know and experiences that they went through. And so, I mean, people might recognize famous people in these characters.
Yeah. And another thing, too, that I love is, like, the power of friendship and the power of having people around you.
Right.
It's so important, especially when you're feeling depressed or you're feeling alone, like, having people there. Such a powerful woven theme throughout the book, too, that I've really, really enjoyed.
Oh, well, thank you, Tatiana. And, you know, these girls, we go through their journey. There's a prequel, and in the prequel, we learn more about their young lives. And as these girls grow, I love that each of them, I mean, we're all failed humans, and they make bad choices along the way. And we also learn that despite the choices, there's always hope, and there's always a better tomorrow, and we see that. These are strong women, and they're entrepreneurial. They're starting businesses. You mentioned Ashley Graham. I'm so proud of Ashley. I mean,
She's amazing.
she's doing wonderfully with her business. And that's powerful to me. When I worked in the modeling industry, I was trying and failing at many businesses before we started our brand and our company in 1993, 27 years ago.
So to transition from modeling to being a business mogul, how was that experience like for you? Did you learn throughout your modeling career some of the business acumen that you have now?
The greatest gift of the long ago modeling career was all the rejection. Didn't appreciate it at the time, but when we started in business with a single pair of socks from my kitchen table, and when people laughed in our faces, slammed doors in my face, said it would never work, it didn't destroy me. I mean, no was like, oh, at least we're talking. You know, I'll come back tomorrow. Maybe your circumstances will have changed, or maybe you'll be in a better mood. And I encourage people, if you're getting a block, if you're getting no's, seek to understand why, because oftentimes we can learn, even if it's criticism not delivered in a nice way, there might be a gem in there, something we can learn from. But go back, put it in your calendar. I mean, I think I might have been a little stalky. I would go back every day, but maybe 6 months, and check back and say, how about now? Because maybe the person who was empowered to reject you is no longer empowered, or maybe they're in a better mood.
You've talked in the past about Warren Buffett and Elizabeth Taylor being some of your mentors, two incredible business powerhouses. Yes. How did those relationships come about?
Well, Elizabeth Taylor, oh my goodness. She was a mentor, became family. Our company had the privilege of working with Elizabeth. And something that she would say is, she's like, acting is so much easier because I get to be a character. But as a model, like, you just had to be out there. And it's a jungle. It's a fashion jungle. It's like, oh, I love that. I mean, it stuck. I wasn't planning on this, but thank you, Elizabeth, as she continues to inspire. She's inspired our line of diamonds with my partner, Paul Rapps, New York, and her integrity. She would always demand the hows, look at a diamond from every angle. And so Mr. Rapps, such a man of integrity, it was many, many years before we brought these diamonds to the market because everything had to be just right. When we started with socks, it was the same way. 27 years ago, we started by conducting surprise factory inspections because you learn a lot when you show up unexpectedly. In the modeling industry, tragically, oftentimes we see sexual slavery, sex trafficking. It's everywhere. And unlike drugs, human beings can be sold over and over and over. And when human beings are no longer profitable in the sex slave trade, they're often sold into forced labor. So for all of us who work in manufacturing, it is critical that we understand the hows. And our team is amazing. We've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into what I believe are the best human rights contracts. I'm always asking people, if you have something better, share it with us. We all need to grow and get better. And you mentioned Mr. Buffett. Oh my goodness, what an inspiration. And I met Mr. Buffett through Irv Blumpkin, our very first retail partner in the home industry, Nebraska Furniture Mart. And all of us can be mentored by Mr. Buffett, whether we know him personally or not, because he's so prolific and he shares such great wisdom. Something that he and I have in common, along with Bill Gates, is we all had paper routes as kids. And his Berkshire Hathaway shareholders meetings, oftentimes he'll begin it with a newspaper tossing competition, and he is so competitive, and I love that. And even though he's got a few years on me, a few more years of experience, he practices till the last minute, and I do too. So we can never sit back and just take for granted our success. It's work.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned again about the importance of bringing awareness to the ever-presence of human trafficking that's going on right now. Do you feel like your passion for that has sparked your philanthropic efforts?
Oh my goodness, I think my parents instilled that in my sisters and me when we were young, and I feel blessed in maturity to be exposed to needs that are so much bigger than me and opportunities that are so much bigger. The vision of our company is teach, inspire, empower, make our world better. Worked with the UN with their youth program with the 8 Millennium Development Goals. Our company has added 2 more, which are the fight against human trafficking and supporting our military. Everyone who partners with us, they choose one of these, and it spans from fighting disease and to fighting hunger and poverty, supporting education and the environment. Everyone chooses one. Once in a while, somebody will say, I'm not interested. And we say, well, we're probably not a good fit then. Mm-hmm. But knowing that we have partners who are supporting this in a meaningful way, in success we can do better, because growth without a strategy can be greed. And working with wonderful people, I serve as the International Youth Chair for the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation and as an ambassador for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. And that's a privilege, that's an honor, and also serving on boards of the NFL PI and the WNBA PA players advocates, and that is a true honor to work to find opportunities for these athletes, many similarities to pro athletes and the modeling industry. Our hearts are broken and devastated over the recent crash. And as the entire board of the WNBA PA, everyone had their eyes on Gigi. I mean, what a hero, and our hearts go out to Vanessa Bryant, her family, and everyone, all the families involved in this crash.
Yes, same. It was tragic, and I'm still at a loss for words for what happened. Unexpected. We have angels looking over us now. It's the silver lining of it all. I want to talk a little bit about your involvement in these charities. Coming from modeling to transitioning to writing a book and being a businesswoman, did you ever expect any of this to happen for you?
I'm extremely humbled by what we've been able to accomplish, and so grateful. I work with an amazing team. When I worked as a model, people used to tease me a little bit, and they'd say I was cheap. I preferred to think of it as fiscally frugal, and they'd say, you know, why don't you wear nicer clothes or drive a better car? And I was saving to invest in people, and I love sports, and the idea of bringing a very inclusive group of people together with different backgrounds, different strengths, and everybody working towards a common goal. And that's our team. And many of us, we've been together for 30 years now. And we also have millennials and Gen Z. They weren't born when we started. But it's about people. I mean, people over profits. And that's really key to, I mean, that's what I consider success, is having these great relationships.
Absolutely. It's the key to running any good business. And also, I want to ask you just about, again, the philanthropic efforts that you've been involved with, because they're incredible. And these stories are stories that need to be told. And I'm so appreciative that you've sat here and brought awareness to these things. How is it for you as a woman, as a businesswoman, when you walk into these spaces and you talk so bravely about these things? Do you ever feel moments of self-doubt or moments where people won't take you seriously?
Oh, I've gone through that quite a bit in life, and I've come to recognize that comfort is really irrelevant when we recognize that the needs are so much bigger than us, that it's really not about us. I mean, I tend to be a shy person, and so even speaking here with you today, it's stepping out of my comfort zone, and I love it. And I think when we recognize the reasons behind what we're doing, and we have conviction for that, that gives us the courage to step out and recognize that comfort, it's boring, and it doesn't help us accomplish what we want to accomplish. And though our brand is 27 years old, we're a baby brand, we're just getting started. And what we're able to do philanthropically, that inspires us. I mean, there's a company, Stellus, big data, tech. They're working in areas of medicine and entertainment, and they're stealth right now. There'll be an announcement next week. It's encouraging, great minds coming together, working for common good, and that's exciting. And so as our company grows, and the media has called our brand they've referred to it as a Berkshire Hathaway, which is such a tremendous compliment.
Absolutely.
Yet on a much, much, much smaller valuation.
For now.
But it is, we work in many different sectors, many different areas, and many don't bear my name. So, people may not be aware, but I love crashing through barriers. Why? Because I used to work as a model, why can't I work in fintech? No good reason. So that is an area in which we work. American Family Insurance, one of our partners. Ireland Pay, it's our credit card processing, and we have what I believe to be the best rates, and it's also 51% goes to meaningful nonprofits who are doing a great job, and that's exciting to me. Entertainment, we worked with, our company has worked with Elizabeth Taylor, Janet Jackson. We're currently working with Marilyn McHugh, Billy Davis Jr., and Vanessa Williams, who's in London right now with her play, HSN, her music, acting, all of it, dancing. It's extraordinary people.
Incredible. And your book is officially out in stores on the 28th.
Yes.
How exciting is that for you?
It's been amazing, and it's been such a gift to hear the feedback from people who have been reading it and enjoying it, and just understanding what Rachel and I were really seeking to accomplish. And, you know, we're grateful to Apple, Amazon, Kobo, and Barnes & Noble. And Rachel and I will be at Barnes & Noble in Tribeca this evening between 6 and 8 o'clock tonight.
Oh, exciting. If anyone here wants to go, that's where she'll be.
Yeah.
Are you going to be signing books and talking about the story as well?
Yes, we will be there. Yep.
So exciting. Well, again, you are an incredible person. Thank you so much for coming here, sharing your story, speaking about the untimely passing of Kobe Bryant. I really appreciate everything you've done. You are incredible. Thank you so much. And before we leave, we have some audience questions.
All right.
Hi, I'm Gloria Jules.
Hi, Glory.
I'm very excited to read the book. I can't wait.
Thank you.
And I have followed you when you were a supermodel and your show now too.
Oh, thank you.
So I would like to know, do you follow other supermodels?
You know, I get inspired. We talked about Ashley Graham, and she's been so kind to refer to me as a mentor, and she's written something lovely for the book. I consider her a mentor because she's from a different generation, and she's teaching me about social media. So that's wonderful. Hannah Jeter, another amazing young woman. Emily Radikowski, I presented her with an award just last fall at Fashion Week for her entrepreneurialism. Kate Upton. I mean, there's some incredible young people doing some amazing things. So I'm continually inspired, and I love to learn from people of all ages. Thank you.
We have one more question.
Hey, Kathy. My name is Ro, and I used to work at Elite when you were a model there, so I was one of your agents a long time ago.
Ro, how are you?
Hi, congratulations on this. I'm good. I can't wait to read this.
Oh,
So
Ro.
I'm really proud of you. And my question is, what kind of advice would you give models today or aspiring models to how to navigate their brand and their career, especially with the prevalence of Instagram and all the other social media platforms?
Well, first of all, oh my goodness, it is so wonderful to see you. And people like you, Ro, your kindness consistently is what enabled me to stay in the industry for so long. I mean, just these wonderful jewels of people who, and hang on to those, you know, that's what I encourage everybody in your life when you have those wonderful jewels. There's gnarly people out there too, so keep your eyes wide open. But what I would say to young people in the world of technology today, I mean, that wasn't around when I was young. There's blessings in that, and there's difficulties and challenges. Be really alert, be really aware. What goes out there, obviously, in cyberspace, it's out there forever, and it can be used for good, and it can be used for bad. Be aware, not everybody is who they say they are. So really be wise, protect yourself. Don't give anyone the opportunity for exploitation. And then if somebody's bullying you, I say call them out on it. I've had people be unkind, and I'm just direct, and I just say, look, if there's something you want to say personally, just please tell me if I can learn from you. But you can't bully. You can't be saying this. I'm a mom, and you can't, you know, say these lies. It's unfair. It's unkind, and please don't do it to other people as well. And there's teaching moments. I mean, there's opportunities. Rather than fighting with people, we can approach them and learn. And so I really encourage young people to handle it smartly. And some people would say it's counterintuitive. It works for us. Consider others as more important than yourself. And that works. It makes life more enjoyable and better. And see who out there you can support. Thank you.
Well, Kathy, again, congratulations on Fashion Jungle. It's officially in stores on the 28th. Thank you so much for coming and talking with us today.
Aw, thank you.